Unseen Talks. Success stories with a bite of Advocam inside.
What unseen will be revealed in this episode? Well, today we feature a lover of physics, electronics, artificial intelligence and Formula One racing, but eventually the wheels were too slow for him, so he switched to rocket engines. He is head of avionics at the Czech Rocket Society, an international student team which is building and launching rockets. Hi, my name is Martin and it's my great pleasure to welcome Lukáš Málek from Czech Rocket Society at the Unseen Talks podcast. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And also my great colleague David Hladík, who is a space applications expert here at Advocam and actually a former member of Czech Rocket Society. Hello.
Hi, pleasure to be here.
You guys are building student rockets. How does a student rocket look like?
It looks like most of the rockets, or if you imagine rockets, that's probably how it looks like. It's 2.6 meter tall. It weighs between 14 to 16 kilograms, and it flies up to 1 kilometer, 1.2 kilometer, and it deploys little satellites, which is the main goal of the project.
So it flies in what altitude?
It's 1.2 kilometer is the highest altitude we have flown to, and it is restricted by the government because we can't fly much higher because there are restrictions, and also it depends on the altitude of the airport itself. So there are multiple things we need to consider, and for that altitude we also need to have NOTAM, which is a paper or a warning for the pilots that there might be a rocket flying.
And why? Why to build such a rocket, David?
Well, because it's fun, I guess. That's why I signed up for it, because I wanted to do it. And this is the best way how to learn how to do it.
For me, I would say that it's also that you can see the theory you are studying at school applied in practice. So that's what I was most excited about, that 80% of the theory I was doing in school, I could actually see moving, and it's just extra pleasure for you and also extra motivation for you to do what you do. And also we were the first Czech rocket student team in Czech Republic. So that was also a reason why we did it, because there are many rocket teams across Europe, but in Czech Republic there was none. So that's why we funded or started the project.
Yeah, when I was studying, I was looking for anything like that and I couldn't find it. And they established it like 1 year later, since I finished my engineering title. So I had to join as a PhD.
So you were one of the oldest?
I was one of the oldest, yes.
Okay. Actually, if I'm correct, Lukáš was your boss, sort of.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how we met, because I wanted to be part of the avionics team and Lukáš was the head of avionics, or still is.
So he is like 5 years younger, actually.
Something like that.
Yeah, okay. Nevertheless, such a rocket must be quite a complicated vehicle. It has many components, right? Engine, electronics, avionics, computer, fuel tanks, and so on. I'm curious, what do you develop on your own and what is purchased from a shop?
I think that most of the parts are actually made on our own. So if I take it from the bottom, we do our own rocket engine. We have a department, Solids, which are responsible for making or doing this motor. And then we have avionics bay, where entire avionics is made on our own. So we design the hardware, we do the software. Just the sensors are, of course, bought from some websites. Mm-hmm. Also, we have our own ground station, which is responsible for receiving the telemetry during the flight. And also we broadcast it live to our servers. So if you open your phone on our website, you can get the live telemetry from the rocket. And we have also ground station box, which it has all the possible buttons, and also it's possible to change the board to different projects. So if you need different buttons, you just unplug or unscrew the middle part of it, and you can plug in different layouts. So that's for the avionics. And then we have, of course, the rocket itself, which we develop on our own. And also the parachute system is the parachutes are created by the members of our team.
I must say that the ground station is like a piece of artwork. This is the biggest upgrade I think you achieved in like 1 or 2 years. It's incredible.
It looks professional, so
Yeah,
professional.
yes.
And surprisingly, this was done in less than 5 months. So
Less than 5
yeah.
months.
So it was I would say the best little project we have had so far, but I'm proud of all what we have achieved.
I can imagine that you are traveling at I don't know, by plane, and they ask you to open the suitcase, and then they arrest you immediately because
We haven't left Czech Republic yet, but it will be probably funny at the security check in the airport.
What kinds of data do you collect? Do you track?
Yeah, we have multiple sensors on board. We are, of course, having accelerometer. So we have acceleration, speed, also altitude, which is really important for us to find the apogee where we deploy or release the parachutes. And also we have GPS, so we can get the total position of the rocket, so we can see live where the rocket is located. We are also measuring, that's very important, the voltage and current of the battery to be sure that the battery is charged and we can fly.
Yeah.
Do you have any redundant systems, like if something breaks and you need the data anyway? So
Yeah, we are storing it to 2 SD cards, and also the data that are sent are also stored on the ground station box. So that's the redundancy, and also we have multiple layers of the flight computer. Each stack is responsible for something different, and those are redundant also. So if something goes wrong with 3 of them, the last one will use the emergency timers to release the parachutes and the payload, so everything goes smoothly.
Yeah. In any case, you have the data to take lesson, to learn lesson. Actually, did it fly? No, first attempt.
The first attempt was actually successful. It's a funny story because I was in Denmark that time, so I was talking with others just via the chat. I wasn't in person at the launch. And there were a few issues with the software, so I was sending the compiled code a few minutes before the launch, but in the end of the day it worked and everything went smoothly. And of course we got a lot of data and we learned a lot of stuff from all the flights.
I know the Czech Rocket Society has dozens of members. How are you organized? Do you have specialized teams for all the disciplines we mentioned, like avionics and engines and so on?
We have 3 different research groups. One is avionics, which is where I'm working. Then we have recovery, which is responsible for the parachutes, and solids, which are responsible for making the rocket engines. And those are separate from the different projects because you have similar software or hardware for all the projects. So then we just deliver to each project what they need. And then we are divided into the project groups, and each project has different departments depending whether you are doing the structural part of the rocket or, for example, TCA for the liquid engine we are working on. So I would say that the structure might sound complex, but in the end of the day, it's working very well because each group or subgroup has a chief who is discussing with other chiefs. So the communication is as easy as possible.
How many members do you have?
I think it was around like 70, 80, or is it already over 100?
It's over 100,
Wow.
but a lot of them are active. So,
Okay. And how does the actual work looks like? Is it everything online, or you organize sort of workshops or summer camps to do the essentials?
It depends how the chief organizes their people or their department. So, for example, if I take it from my point of view, the avionics, we are mostly hybrid. So because we are Czech Rocket Society, so the people are spread all over the Czech Republic. Also, we have some people studying abroad, so we can't just meet in person. So who is, for example, in Prague meets in Prague, but we at the same time have an online call with others. So the weekly meetings are on hybrid basis, but also we organize, for example, with Avionics, we went to the cottage of a friend and spent a few weeks there developing what was needed and having fun. So that's how it works. And for the communication, we are using Slack. And for the important information which we need to have somewhere for others to learn, then we use Notion for that.
I remember that on the cottages, it was always the biggest crunch because it was a few days before the start. And it was full of stress, but also full of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But we always went there thinking that we will have at least one day off. And in the end of the day, we were working 16 hours per day just on the rocket.
Sorry, I have to ask, how many girls do you have?
I think 4 in total, but I'm not completely sure. But it's mostly guys, because it's, I would say, similar to most of the technical fields.
But you don't have only technical fields there. There are some people like for PR and marketing and these things.
Yeah,
so it's so complex.
Yeah.
We are looking for project managers because that's something we really need, and also it's very important for the project to grow. And also we are having PR department, which is responsible for all the pictures and propagation of the society.
And these experts for PR and so on, these are from another universities, and actually your team is consisted of students from many universities and even abroad, right?
Exactly. Anyone can join. All it takes is just visit our website, fill a little form, and we will take it from there. So you will receive an email and with all the information you need. So just go there and look it up. We are always looking for new members. But yeah, you can study anywhere. It's just important to speak Czech or Slovak at this point.
And it's not only university, there are some high school students as well. I think the youngest was like 16 or something like that. It was very shocking for me to see it, especially because I was 10 years older at that point. But even young guys are there.
Yeah, we have a lot of very, very great students from high school, which are also very important for us. So even high schoolers are more than welcome.
Unseen Talks.
Hello again. We are talking about the Czech Rocket Society, and I am curious. What about the payloads of your rockets? Are you conducting any experiments or something like that?
We have payload, as I mentioned earlier. We are doing the projects for a high school competition called CANSAT, which are 4 little satellites that are inside the rocket. And we deploy them in 1 kilometer of altitude, and they are measuring different things. It depends how the students design the CANSAT, because that's something we have just the dimensions or the weight they need to follow, but the rest is up to them. So it really depends.
You have to explain maybe what is CANSAT and how the CAN satellite looks like. Actually, where it is located inside the rocket?
It's in the upper part of the rocket. So there are 2 doors that will open.
So somewhere here?
Those are, you can see it all on the picture, 4 of them.
Aha,
Each of them is one separate CAN satellite. So it really looks like CAN, and it's full of sensors and hardware. And they are also, some of them are sending the telemetry live to the ground. Some of them are just storing it to the SD card. It depends how complex the satellite is.
I think that some students even collect like Coca-Cola cans because they can make it out of this. So yeah, they are just walking around the campus and they are collecting these cans.
And these cans are released up there.
Exactly. We release them, and then we just land the rocket with our own parachutes, and the CANSATs, they have their own. So yeah, those are separate systems.
So these are another students who are providing with the cans.
Exactly.
And you are loading them.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Releasing them. So it's sort of service.
Basically, yeah. That's in the beginning they were releasing it from the plane, and then we came up with the idea: let's make a rocket for it. It will look cooler, and we will also have a lot of experience from it. And they said yes. So now we are here, and this is the 3rd year where we were developing the rocket for the competition.
David, what about to put our sensor, our particle camera inside the can? Is it possible?
Oh, it definitely is possible. we would have some valuable data, I guess. It would be actually interesting to see how we would integrate it. I think this would be more valuable for us as an experience, how to integrate our sensor into something like that. The data itself, of course, we can get from other means, but the integration would be challenging. So yeah, we can definitely do it one day.
Yeah, and we are open to cooperation. So if you have anything you want to fly with us, we are more than welcome to talk about it and integrate it into our rockets.
Yeah, it's reaching 1.2 kilometers, so the data of the radiation will change on the scale.
Slightly, yeah. We should see some change. Usually the safer bet would be just some balloon and use the experimental balloon. But again, like we want to develop our devices, and this would be the perfect way how to learn, how to integrate it well, and how to miniaturize it, the computer and everything. So that would be very fun.
That's a challenge, maybe in the future. Anyway, is it safe to fire these rockets? Honestly, I've heard that there was a tricky one flight recently. Can you tell us what happened?
Sure, it's never safe to fly rockets. We have a Bureau of Safety to make sure that everything is as safe as possible, but it's rocket science. It's you never know. But yeah, the last final flight of the competition was unfortunately unsuccessful because the parachute did not deploy, so the rocket just failed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I have to say that it's still quite safe, because when you're on the spot and you're launching the rocket, you have groups of people that they basically watch over the perimeter where it is supposed to land, and we are making sure that no one walks in, no one walks by, and it is safe, even though it sometimes lands harshly.
But we are trying our best to make it as safe as possible, and we are taking the steps to even improve the safety we have right now.
Obviously, you are not the only student team building rockets. In Europe, there are many. Almost every technical university has one. Even in the Czech Republic, there are some other teams like CTU Space Research. Tell me more about the student competitions, how you can compare who is better and what are the factors.
Yeah, there is European Rocketry Challenge, which is the biggest competition of students' rockets inside the Europe. Then, of course, in US, they have their own competitions. But right now we are still launching just in Czech Republic. But for the future, we definitely want to go to that competition to compare with others. And they have different categories. They have solid fuels, hybrid fuels, and liquid fuels. So right now we are discussing internally in which category we want to compete.
But right now you have a new project, right? For the liquid fuel.
Yeah, we are working on the demonstrator of liquid fuel. We will have some tests in the beginning of July. So there is definitely that's the reason why you should watch our social sites. For example, on Instagram, we will definitely show some videos and pictures from the tests. So we will keep you updated. It's
called Star Fox.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Google it and find out what is it.
Do you have any estimates how high it should fly when it's ready?
The UROC, the rockets are flying between 3 to 9 kilometers. So, of course, we need to discuss the details of the rocket to be sure which altitude we want to reach. But we can fly up to 9 kilometers there.
What are your best results so far?
We have many successful projects. Just the fact that we actually had 11 or 12 launches of the Sherpa, which is the rocket we have for the CAMSAT project, is a great success. Also, if the tests will go well in the future, it's just very cool that students can actually build something that is liquid fueled rocket motor. It's rocket science. It's complicated, and we can do it. So that's something we can be proud about. But we were not competing against other teams, so we don't know how well we are doing compared to others. But I would say that just the fact that we have so many successful projects is showing that we can do cool stuff.
I would maybe just clarify that, like, going from a solid fuel rocket to liquid fuel rocket, this is like from bicycle to motorbike.
I was just about to ask.
It's another level, and the complexity is so much higher.
Unseen Talks. Success stories with a bite of Advocam inside.
Hello again. There's Martin, there's Lukáš Málek from Czech Rocket Society, and there is David Ladík from Advacam. And we are talking about rockets. And now I would like to ask more personally, Lukáš, as I mentioned in the introduction, you originally tended towards Formula One races. You even wanted to join a Formula student team in Denmark, but then something happened.
Yeah, when I was in Denmark, the team was not doing anything, so they were just waiting for, I don't know, whether more people to join. So the formula was not a possibility when I was there during my Erasmus exchange. But the story is pretty funny because back then I had no clue about rockets at all. I just knew that Elon Musk exists and that was probably it. And then I went to visit friends in Prague for a week, and one of them asked me whether I want to do software for the rockets, and I said, like, why not? It sounds interesting. And yeah, now I'm sitting here spending 60 hours per week working on rockets, and I found myself in it because it's just so much fun.
So do you see your future in the industry?
Yeah, I do because it's just, you are pushing everything to the limits, and that's what I really like about it.
And when you look at the Czech industry landscape, can you imagine that a Czech company could employ you, or you have to go abroad to the US because they are doing the rockets?
I would say that the space industry in Czech Republic is very great. That's something we can be proud about, and the general public doesn't know about it that much. So there are definitely options where to be employed here in Czech Republic. So I would say that I don't think I will go to abroad very soon. So yeah, I think that the Czech Republic can offer a lot in the space industry.
I have to say that it's getting much better. When I started my engineering studies, there was barely anything, but now in the last 10 years, it's like mushrooms after the rain. Especially in Brno. Brno is like a space hub, but even Prague is catching up right now, and yeah, there's dozens of very, very well established companies right now.
Building rockets must be expensive hobby. Where do you get your necessary fundings?
We have sponsor for that, but it's mostly about the people, because the people are the important part of the company. Without the people, we wouldn't be anywhere. So of course we need to buy materials, buy hardware for the avionics department, etc. It's also some traveling and so on. But I would say it's mostly about the people, because all students are working in their free time for free, and that's
usually the manpower is the most expensive.
Exactly. And also having so many clever people who are so much into space is awesome and so much motivating.
And I have to say, it was very difficult to keep up with you guys. Having meetings at 10 p.m. is very difficult for me. So maybe that's why I'm a former member.
Indeed, at Advacam we are really honored to be a long-term partner of the Czech Rocket Society. However, I suppose other supporters would be welcomed.
Yeah, sure. We have so many of them that I probably won't go through the list because it will take forever, but I'm very happy and I'm very thankful to all of them that they are supporting us and pushing the space industry in Czech Republic forward, because it's important to have these societies, because the universities are not agile enough to keep up with the industry, and that's why that's what we are here for. So we are just somewhere in between. So yeah, I would say it's important to support us both from the industry point of view and from the university point of view. So yeah, thanks to all the sponsors.
I guess you have to build larger and larger rockets because of all the stamps that must be attached at the rocket.
That's a nice point of view why we should build larger rockets.
Let's turn the page to the future. What projects are ahead of you, and what next launches are waiting for you?
We have a Czech Rocket Challenge in the beginning of July, 12th of July, close to Brno, Medlanky Airport, where that's a competition that we are organizing. It's a third year when we are being the organizers, and it's a competition for high school and university students where they build their own rockets and we are just the referees. and there will be at least 15 launches. So it's definitely something where you should go if you have time.
It is open for the public.
Yeah, it's open for public. Yeah.
What about other launches during the year?
We will continue our development of the Sherpa rocket for the CanSat project, and there will be definitely some launches in the end of the year and also in the next year for sure. But we don't have the exact dates at this point.
Are you still looking for new members?
We are always looking for new members. So if you are interested in joining us, just go to the website. There is everything you need to know. So we would be more than delighted to talk with you and see whether there are some intersections and whether there is something you can work on inside our society.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining the podcast. And thank you too for listening to the podcast till the end. And please stay tuned for more success stories with a bite of Advacam Inside.
Unseen Talks are brought to you by Advacam, a world-leading producer of single-photon imaging and particle tracking cameras. We're imaging the unseen.